This video gives an introduction to Python programming. These are the topics I will be discussing in this video. What is Python? Python is a high-level interpreted general purpose dynamic programming language. We'll see each term here. High-level means the instructions in a programming language looks like English language. Such programming languages are called high-level programming languages. The programming languages used nowadays are all high-level languages. Second term is interpreted. Since the computers can understand only zeros and one, which we call it as binary language or machine language, we have to translate this English like a high-level language to machine or binary language. For this purpose, we have different types of translators available. One among them is the interpreter, and the interpreter will read the instructions in the program line by line and then checks for the errors if any, and if there is no error, it will execute the instruction and produces the output. And the third term is general purpose. General purpose here means Python programming language is used to develop a wide variety of applications, and hence it is called general purpose. And the next term is dynamic programming language. This is because dynamic here means the variables used in Python need not be declared or need not specify the data type at the time of writing the program, as in the case of other programming languages. Like for example, in C language, you need to specify the type of the data type of the variable while writing the program, and you cannot change its data type while running the program. But in the case of Python, it is not so. You need not specify the data type of the variable while writing the program. It assumes the data type based on the data you give to a variable at runtime. Okay, so such languages are called dynamic programming languages. Such dynamic programming languages takes crucial care of the memory management. And next, Python is free and it is a open source software, which means Python is free of cost. It is freely downloadable from the internet. And open source here means it is a kind of computer software in which the source code is made public, which means the copyright owner of the software gives everyone access to read, change and distribute the code for any purpose. And this software, open source software, has community based development. That is, it is not done by a single person. The changes done or modifications done into the software are based on a community, are done by a community. So it is a community based development. Python language was created by Guido van Rossum and it was released, official release of Python was in 1991. Uses of Python. As I said before, it has widespread of applications. It is I have listed here only a few of them. Desktop graphical application development, which means games, and it can also be used for developing graphical user interface guide. and it is also used for mathematical and scientific analysis of data, that is big data analysis, machine learning, artificial intelligence. In all those fields, Python is being used. It is also used for website development and web application development. Features of Python. Python can work on any operating system, which we have specified here as different platforms. Here means any platform it can work on. Some of the examples have been specified here: Windows, Mac, Linux, etc. And it has a simple syntax similar to that of the English language, and also its syntax allows developers to write programs with fewer lines than other programming languages. And it runs on an interpreter system. I have already mentioned what an interpreter is. Interpreter is a software that reads instructions from a source code line by line, translate it and execute it to produce a output. Python supports different programming styles, which is procedural, object-oriented and functional. Procedural here means the instructions in the program are executed step by step. Object-oriented is it uses the objects and the classes concept here, and functional here means it is used to create and use functions. Python supports automatic memory management. This feature is very useful because if a variable or object is not being used for a long time, then such variables and objects will be removed from the memory. So it takes crucial care of the memory management. And Python has a large standard library. Standard library has built-in functions, modules, data types, etc. And it also supports third-party libraries. Third-party libraries, we'll see them in this slide. First we will see what a Python library is. It is a reusable chunk of code. Chunk of code means piece of code that you may want to include in your programs or projects. Some of the third-party Python libraries are Matplotlib, which helps with data analyzing and is a numerical plotting library. And the other one is Pandas, which is used for data science projects. And NumPy, it has advanced math functions and it is a scientific computing package. These are some of them. There are a wide number of Python libraries available, third-party Python libraries available. So the code written in Python, which is called a source code, is automatically compiled to bytecode and then executed. This diagram shows how an interpreter functions, Python's interpreter functions. This source code here means the program the user or the programmer writes. That is what is called source code, which is interpreted to form the output. What is done inside the interpreter is defined using this diagram. Here, though we specify it is an interpreter, the first box shows it uses a compiler. This compiler is different from the usual compiler. This compiler here is used for translating the instructions in the source code to bytecode format. So bytecode means it compiles the source code. It is a intermediate program, efficient intermediate program for translating the instructions into a low level format. Okay, and such bytecodes, that is, once the source code is converted into bytecode, the source code of Python has the extension .py. Once it is converted into bytecode, it has the extension .pyc. That is that shows the bytecode version of the same program. Okay, so each program is first converted using a compiler into a bytecode, which is the intermediate format, and then the instructions in the bytecode will be executed line by line by the virtual machine, which is again a program which reads the instructions from the bytecode one by one and then executes it to produce a output. Okay. For execution, the virtual machine uses the library modules that are available in Python. This is how the interpreter functions. So, inside the interpreter, first the source code will be converted into bytecode using the compiler. Usual compiler converts the source code into machine language, which is readable by the machine, computer. Whereas in this case the compiler converts it into a intermediate form which is not readable by the machine directly, it has to be read by the virtual machine only. Java and Python has virtual machines like this for reading the instructions from the bytecode for execution. So here I have mentioned what the virtual machine does. It executes the instructions in the bytecode. This again is a continuation of features. It can be used as a scripting language for developing web applications. Already we saw in the uses of Python. Python can be used for developing websites and web applications. So this Python is also used as the scripting language for developing the web applications. It supports features such as nested code blocks. These are the features that are included in the programming side, that is nested code blocks, functions, classes, modules and packages, and it has built-in data types. We will see them in the future videos. And built-in data types such as strings, lists, tuples, dictionaries, etc. are supported, and it also supports various control statements like if else, if else, while, for, etc. And it allows easier programming using all those functions, classes, modules and packages. And it's all about the features of Python. Next we will see how to install Python on your laptop or a desktop computer or mobile phones. If you're installing Python on laptop or computer, you can visit this particular site www.python.org, and you can select this menu from there, downloads, and choose the release. There are currently there are two releases available, release 2 and release 3, and you can choose which one you want. You always choose the latest one. It is version 3 is 3.8 point something is the latest version of Python. You can install that. If you're using on the mobile phone, then you can install Python from any Python app from Play Store. One example here I have mentioned, this QPython 3. If it is simply QPython, it means Python version 2. So try to install Python 3, which will install the latest version of Python. Next we will see the interactive environment that is used with Python, which is like a calculator. When you give the expression, it will display the result. But such an environment is called a IDE, that is Integrated Development Environment, and the Python has IDE environment IDLE, which stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment, is an integrated development environment, IDE in short, for Python. This comes up pre-installed in Windows and Mac. In Linux, if you are using Linux operating system, you have to install Python. If you are using this to Windows and Mac, then you need not install it, it comes up pre-installed. Once installed, you can open IDLE. If you are using Windows, you can click the start menu and choose go to all apps, or you can search for idle. Okay, otherwise in older versions of Windows you have to choose programs and select Python 3 from there and then choose idle. Or the other way of doing the same is you can open the command prompt from the run box, which is also there in the start menu, or you can activate run box using Windows key plus R key, and that will open the run box, and within the run box you can type CMD and that will open the command prompt. Okay, this is the idle environment, interactive environment. Here we see three greater than signs, which we call Python interpreter prompt or Python chevron prompt. This indicates it is waiting for a command or expression. This interactive environment where we are interacting with the interpreter is called console or command shell. See, at the top of this, the title bar, it has mentioned the version here I am using is Python 3.7.4, and it has written here shell, which this is the name given for this interactive environment. In this interactive environment, I have done three operations. First one is type 4 plus 5 at the prompt. See here, I have typed here 4 plus 5 and then press the enter key, which will display the output 9. A second operation I have done here is type print hello. Okay. You can also type hello, welcome to the world of Python, and then press enter key. Okay, print should be given in small letters since Python is a case sensitive language. If you give it in capital letters, it will show it as an error. So give print in small case and open bracket. Whatever text you wish to give should be given within double quotes or single quotes. Okay, and then press enter key. The third operation is simply type hello. If you want to display hello as such, then it has to be given within single quotes. Okay, so here the third operation I have done at the prompt, quotes hello single quotes, that will and press the enter key, that will display the answer here. Next we will see about the comments. These comments are used by other programmers or other users to understand your code, what you have written. It is used as an help to your program. Whatever process you are doing can be commented using annotations. That is, comments are annotations made by programmer, and for that you can use the hash symbol. This is the hash symbol for single line comments. See here in this interactive environment, I have typed 6 into 8, okay, which is the operation to be performed, and to show what is being performed here, I have typed multiply here, and before multiply I have given hash symbol. So this will be ignored by the interpreter while translating. So when I press enter key, it will display only 48. It doesn't show any error for this hash multiply, nor it doesn't display anything in the output also for the same. This is for single line comments, you can use hash. For multi-line comments, you can use triple quotes. At the beginning of the lines, and at the end of the lines you have to give this 3 quotes. We'll see an example in the next slide for that. See here, in this interactive environment I have used at the beginning 3 double quotes and then 2 lines of instructions. This is to test a multiple line comment, and I have given print within double quotes 3 into 4, and again I am giving 3 double quotes. This indicates the beginning of the comments and this indicates the end of the comment. So how many you can include any number of lines in between this 6 double quotes, and then following it I gave the print 3 into 4. This cannot be given in a interactive environment, that is multiple line comment cannot be used in interactive environment. So I have used a file for that purpose. Only in a file you can give these multi-line comments. I have executed this program and which displays the output as, that is for the statement print 3 into 4, it displays the answer as 12. Next is about the identifier. Identifier is the name given to a variable, function, class, module or other objects. Any names you give to these things is called a identifier. How can you give text for, how will you name the identifier? We will see in the next few points. It should begin with an alphabet or an underscore. Only alphabet or underscore should be used at the beginning of identifiers. And you can include any number of letters, digits or underscores. Spaces are not allowed. No special characters such as at, dollars, percentage, comma, full stop, those characters are not allowed. And since Python is a case sensitive language, hello capital and small hello are different identifiers. Okay, capital A and small a are different in Python. Not while printing, only if you give the name of the identifier in capitals and small letters, it will be treated differently. A class name starts with a capital letter. It always starts with a capital letter. These are the list of valid identifiers and invalid identifiers. Valid identifiers name. Here I have started the identifier with a alphabet, and it can be either small or capital letters can be used. And the second valid identifier is my name. This is also valid because I am not using here any other special characters nor spaces here. My underscore name is allowed. And the next again I am starting the identifier with a name, so it is valid, and it has a following n we have set of other letters and digits which is valid. Next we will see some of the invalid identifiers. My name, the problem here is it is not valid because we have given here space. This is not allowed in identifiers. Next case, the error is this identifier is invalid because we begin the identifier with a digit. So that is not allowed in an identifier. In the third case, I am using here at symbol, which is not allowed in identifiers. And that's all about the identifiers. Next we will see what are keywords. Keywords are predefined words that has a particular meaning. Python has a set of keywords that are reserved words that cannot be used as variable names, function names, or any other identifiers. These words are reserved, so they cannot be used for naming the identifiers. Example for some of the predefined words or keywords are listed here. Break, and is a keyword. Continue, or is also a keyword. Try, while, true, false, if. These are case sensitive. So if I have given in small letters, it should be in small. See here, true, I have given T as capital. So wherever you use true, it should be given like this in capital letters. Thank you.